What do you say, Will? You happy to be back or what?
Yeah, 100%.
No more tissue up the nostril?
Nah.
You're a new man. Well, that's good because I brought just a boatload of interesting stuff today.
A boatload?
Yeah, that's what I did. I rowed my boat right up to the internet and I filled it up to the max.
Okay, well, that's good.
And we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna kick it off with a nice little fun one that a lot of people could participate in. Anyone with a, I guess you have to have an iPhone for this. I apologize, but I presume the equivalent exists on Android as well. It's something I hadn't thought about. How about a wallpaper for your smartphone that would ensure that your battery would never die ever again? How would that work? Well, it actually wouldn't. I mean, that's not exactly right how they phrase it on this particular article. But what it would do is it would warn you in a better way than your battery indicator as far as the progression of your battery consumption all the way down to battery death, which is a process we go through on a relatively daily basis here. So this is a series of iPhone wallpapers that were designed in order to act as a mega indicator of what your status happens to be. And there's a little video that demonstrates a few different ones. It's called Dynamo Apple Pack, and the designer is Ben Vesey. He came up with 3 Apple-themed dynamic wallpapers that are reactive to your battery status. So this one, a little more designed. See how the apple's been eaten?
Oh, yeah.
When your battery, so then you plug it back in and the rainbow comes back. And when you're fully charged, it's the full Apple logo.
Oh.
Okay. Or a full Apple, I should say. This one over here, you lose the color on it. So it's a little more subtle. And then when you're charging, he's painting the colors back in. So if you, and this is if you go below 20%, by the way, that it changes dynamically to the used up icon. This one for me is probably the most functional. If I see that face, I'm like, I better find an outlet. It's a sad face.
It's a dead face.
Dead face. It's worse than sad.
Yeah. The worst.
Happy face when you are between 20 and 100%, and then you get the little electricity looking version. There's also just a simple happy face available as well. He is a London-based designer, Ben Vesey, who came up with this collection of wallpapers that could possibly save you. They're available for $5.50 in 2 different packs. And it's actually a riff on Happy Mac and similarly inspired Apple Face ID, which starts out with a smile on a black background surrounded by green rings and turns into a big frowny face surrounded by red rings when you hit low battery anyway. This was just a nice little tip at the front of the show. I never use stuff like this, but it is kind of true that battery is this kind of key component in your experience on this device, yet it is so minor the way it's represented, that the tiny little indicator. And it got me wondering about why it is that I pay so little attention to it and inevitably end up with I have chargers everywhere, but inevitably it's still, I find a way to screw it up. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, this is pretty aesthetically pleasing as well.
Which is helpful.
Yes.
Now let me ask you, if you had to choose between those the three new designs that we saw in the video there. Yeah, that one. That one's not new. I think that's old.
Oh, yeah?
I think it's between this one, and
I guess it's
the apple. It was the apple itself being eaten.
Yeah.
Yeah, which one are you going to put on there?
I like this one.
The stripes.
Oh, actually, if it's animated, that'll be kind of cool.
It's not animated. No, the guy's not. No.
Yeah, maybe I'll go for this one.
The first one. Okay.
The first Apple one.
All
I
right.
like the green.
All right. I might give this a shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might see what's going on with that. It's interesting that the manufacturer doesn't do some version of that, but I guess.
Do they have a notification, right?
Oh, you get a notification. You're below 20%, and then you just click it away and like, whatever.
Yeah, 20% is quite a lot.
20%.
You still have a lot of juice.
Oh, I mean, there's another one, I'm sure, at like 5 and whatever. But this is like staring at you. You better plug it in. So, and then, the other thing they aimed to solve with this is with the charging indication being full screen is some people with wireless chargers and stuff don't place it perfectly. Or don't, like, that's one of the big mishaps. You're like, why? I didn't plug it in, or it wasn't plugged in at the other end of the wall. It came unplugged or whatever. So by having a real distinctive charge screen, which takes up the whole screen, that was another initiative for this particular designer.
Yeah, good job.
So that's just a little something for you.
Yeah.
So something I prepared for you there, Will.
A life hack?
Yeah, man, you might even call it that.
Yeah. Good job.
People like, Lou, just charge your battery every night.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, man. Yeah, I got to get my life together. I'm well aware of this. I've known this for a while. Although I did trim the beard and stuff, so that was part, like, I sort of got my life together a little bit on that front.
Yeah, you're halfway there.
I was kind of, but there's only one Timbit left in the box, so make of that what you will. Only one Timbit left in the box. Make of that what you will.
Yeah, okay.
Today's sponsor, HelloFresh. And that's actually what I need with an empty box of Timbits beside me. I need some HelloFresh. I need to get that fresh in there. I need to take the stress out of mealtime as well, which you know, stress can be a problem for you. Stress can wipe you out.
Oh, yeah.
Stress can shave years off your life. Be careful with that stress. So anywhere you can shave a little bit of it, I'll tell you what, you shave that. And that's what we're trying to do for you. And that's what HelloFresh is trying to do for you. You could throw on some Lou Later in the background, and you could get down with your meal kit from HelloFresh. And you could be ready to go in 30 minutes or less.
Oh, yeah.
And you might find yourself having a calorie smart meal, a veggie meal if you need it. You can look at he's like pescatarian right there.
Oh, yeah.
That might be you.
That one's me. This one's yours? Calorie
That's
smart?
right. Can't you tell? In shape over here. I was peddling in the background.
Well, the Timbits.
Hey, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, we're not going to talk about that anymore.
Okay.
All right. That time has come and that time is gone. Family friendly. You picked a number over there, and it's all kinds of delicious meals. It's everything from burgers and I mean, sometimes you got quesadillas over. I mean, creamy dill on the pork cutlet. Will, you're not cooking with dill enough.
No. Need more dill in my life.
Dill is, are you a big dill guy? Dill is delicious.
Yeah, especially in chips.
Dill pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hearty black bean, figgy balsamic pork. I mean, it's like, triple mushroom truffle gnocchi. Come on now.
Truffle.
Yeah.
That's expensive, it sounds like.
With garlicky panko and parmesan. 20 minutes. It's ready in 20 minutes, Will.
There you go.
So now that I got you all thinking about food, it's time to get it together and go over here. Cut out your stressful meal planning. Get it ready in 30 minutes or less. You can even try meals ready in 20 minutes or less. They say you can get a better value too. HelloFresh is 28% cheaper than shopping at your local grocery store and 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal without sacrificing the quality. That's what they say right there.
Boom.
Go to HelloFresh.com/LouLater12 and use code LouLater12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/LouLater12. Don't forget the code LouLater12 for 12 free meals. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. Click the link in the description, HelloFresh.com/LouLater12, code LouLater12. It's 12 free meals. Tile CEO has come out and said, hey, we're all for competition here, but is this going to be a fair, is this going to be a fair one?
Is that what he said?
We're Tile. He said, I think it needs to be fair.
Oh, okay.
Quotes in the headline there. They were already a little bit, they were already having a little tiny dispute with Apple before AirTags because some of the iOS updates have not necessarily broken aspects of their tracker, but it had made it a little less user-friendly by constantly prompting and warning people, you sure you want location?
Oh, right.
And people had to go into settings to stop getting prompted. And Ty was like, what are you guys planning over there? And so they had an ongoing thing, a discussion, let's say. And then the AirTag hits and they're like, oh, God. They're like, you're talking about ultra wideband over here? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
You're talking about leveraging the Find My ecosystem over here? That's what you're talking about? Yeah. We've been here. We've been doing this 8 years. We've been here. We can't snap our fingers, tap into this thing. Mm-hmm. Who are we competing with now? Like, we need to be on a platform. So they come with the anti-competitive stuff.
Seems like everyone's going about that anti-competitive nature with Apple, with Fortnite and Nvidia.
Willie do.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
I really like what you did there.
You know,
you're exactly right. This is indicative of a company that keeps on. I'm talking about Apple entering categories. Now, in the case of the App Store, I mean, the App Store existed, but it has ballooned in scale. Mm-hmm. And as they've continued to have success, and as they've entered new categories, you know, into the media side of it, and the services side of it, and then the fitness side of it, and then well, there's talk of them even goofing around with podcasts.
Sure, yeah.
And then you start to say, wow, like all these other businesses that were built in that business, on top of that business via the App Store, in the case of Epic, or via the App Store. I mean, what is Tile without the eye? Like, they need it.
For sure. Yes, they do.
You weren't ready for that today. What'd you think? Was it going to be a chilled cow type of episode?
Well, yeah.
A lo-fi girl type of episode?
Kind of it is a late one.
Oh, because it's 5 p.m. Mm-hmm. Well, you see, I was having a protein bar over there.
Sure.
So.
You also shot a video. I thought you would.
You thought it'd be what?
I thought you would.
No, you got me all wrong today. Well, you got me all wrong today. I don't know what it is, actually. Now that you mention that.
All the Timbits?
Now that you mention that, I'm happy about that. Yeah. I'm happy.
The 9 out of the 10 Timbits?
I am happy that I am not exhausted right now. Because you're right. I'm shooting over there. I've been here for a while. I'm reading all this news.
Dogs running around.
The dogs were... That was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Then I'm pedaling over there.
Yes, you do that.
Now I'm over here. 5-something for me, local time. I don't know when you're watching this.
Yeah. Well, what got you going?
I don't know. But I'm really happy about that.
Okay.
I might be doing something in my life. I mean, you know what maybe it is? Maybe it's just I trimmed up.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all it was. And then I looked in the mirror this morning and I said to myself, today's going to be a day. That might have been what happened.
Yeah.
Could be a lot of other things. Anyway, here's a quote. Tile welcomes competition. We've been competing for 8 years with small companies to Fortune 50 companies. So we welcome competition from Apple, but we think it needs to be fair. If you look at the history between Tile and Apple, we had a very symbiotic relationship. They sold Tile in their stores. We were highlighted at WWDC 2019, and then they launched Find My in 2019. And right when they launched their Find My app, which is effectively a competitor to Tile, they made a number of changes to their OS that made it very difficult for our customers to enable Tile.
It's like... Hey, Tile CEO, why are your teeth grinding?
And then, once it got enabled, they started showing notifications that basically made it seem like Tile was broken. No. It's tough to be Tile right now. You know how originally we were like, oh, maybe this just brings more people into the tracker space, and people are like, oh, yeah, a Tile has more variety, or I can get... No. Tile's like, no. We're dying here. Please give us. How about you give a dog a bone here, or in the case of Otis, an antler, what he was chewing on, and he didn't want to give it up. He was like Tile. He was like Tile. He was like Tile.
Yeah, he likes those Tile antlers.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, this is a tough position too, because do you think the Android hardware is going to make tags as well?
Yeah.
Whether it's Samsung.
Samsung already got the tag. Samsung got the tag. Google's going to have the tag. Everybody's got the tag now. Yeah. They had 8 years. No one had the tag. And then overnight, they wake up one morning, everyone's got the tag. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is a tough spot. I don't know. Maybe Amazon can buy them or something. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. Peloton might have even bigger problems than Tile. I don't know, because they got to go and figure out how to, what do you call it? Recall. They got to figure out a way to go recall 125,000 treadmills.
The big boys.
Oh my God. What is the freight? I'm like, I've got images in my mind of all the logistics and shipping guys and lifting and trucks going to people's houses. And it's enormous, that thing. And no one's going to disassemble it or.
Okay, so first, what happened?
Well, what happened, we covered on this show in the past.
Yeah.
There's been a number of injury reports. And one death. That's obviously a key here. 72 reports of adult users, children, pets, and or objects being pulled under the rear of the treadmill, including 29 reports of injuries to children, such as second and third degree abrasions, broken bones, and lacerations. This is the Tread Plus unit as well as the regular Tread unit, and then an additional 5,400 treadmills in Canada. So the first number was in the U.S. and some of them are in Canada as well that are going to be getting recalled. Now, at first, when we talk about this story, when the news first broke, there was a little bit of defense on the Peloton front where they were kind of trying to fight it a little bit or at least plead their case. Mm-hmm. And now I guess they've looked at it, or maybe they read all the stories, or maybe they've been getting increased pressure. You just don't know. Mm-hmm. But they have, I believe this is a voluntary recall, which means it hasn't.
Peloton's like, yeah, you're right.
I believe this is what it says over here. Voluntary. I just want to make sure. Peloton is issuing a voluntary recall for all its treadmill products. So it took a little while, but they aren't being forced to do it by the safety people. Instead, they're just getting out in front of it. They're like, God, we can't handle. Imagine something else happens. Yeah. We can't be on the hook for that. We got to just get out in front of this one and just get these all back here and figure out a different system, figure out a different way. So they got to go now and collect these things. Is going to be a massive undertaking. They have said, as far as the voluntary component, actually, that's interesting because it's voluntary. It could be voluntary in the other way, which is it's up to the individual to whether they want to keep using it or not. Because there's also an indication in here that they're saying, okay, if you want to hang on to it, then follow these steps. We want it to be in a room, locked, no children,
right? Things
like this. So there's a voluntary aspect there too. Tread Plus owners will have the option to voluntarily return their treadmills to Peloton for a full refund through November 6, 2022. If you want to keep the treadmill, you're being offered additional safety measures. They'll show up and move the treadmill to another room for free. Into a safer location. I guess it's pretty heavy, that thing.
I guess so. I'm wondering, why can't they design some sort of safety like hardware for it?
Oh, they're gonna
I guess
have
they
to.
Can't.
What do you mean?
At least for the existing ones, can they add like some sort of like protection at the bottom or something? Like just redesign it, just so like they don't have to figure out.
Honestly,
the logistics of returning it.
I think it needs a
full-on redesign.
This seems super obvious, but it needs a better shutoff. Because what happens is it escalates. Like something gets trapped and it doesn't turn off. The video clips I saw.
Yeah.
So once, and I don't know, again, this is not an easy fix. Like they can't just snap their fingers and do it. And they can't, I don't think, issue a software update and achieve such a thing. It might be missing some necessary hardware that lets the treadmill know, hey, there's something trapped underneath here and we're going to shut it down right now.
Some sort of sensor.
And then also maybe another consideration, because so many kids were affected, would be weight. Like if you don't have enough weight on the treadmill, maybe it shouldn't turn on. Because we saw all these clips with the kids running. I know there's some small adults. Maybe there would be a way to override it with like a pin code or something. But maybe by default, it doesn't even turn on if you don't put 100 pounds on it.
Right.
Or whatever it would be, 90 pounds. Because even that's a bigger kid, you know, at that point. That is probably less susceptible to major issue. But either way, at this point, it seems they want to just get them back. They're at least offering the opportunity to get them back. And I presume this company is wildly successful. I presume they can hire the right people when they can make the modifications necessary to get a better version of the product back on the market. So that's the upside.
Yeah.
You end up with a better, but this does seem a little bit tough to say, but like for those that have been injured, let alone killed, I think the idea of an upcoming product to improve it is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to settle with all these people too. Like you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be separate legal implications over there. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Kia looks like they're not gonna have a tough one with the EV6 because we've been trying to figure out your next electric car, remember? And we're gonna just add the EV6 to it. Now, the price point, $45,000, that's a target. They don't know if it's going to land there because they were converting from the European pricing. Now, the EV6, it's a lot like the Ioniq. Remember how they were putting out the similar platform, but with the different looks to it?
Right.
And so this particular option is one of the most anticipated new electric cars this year. The automaker started already taking reservations in Europe and saw stronger than expected demand, around 300% their expected sales volume.
Wow.
So people really want this thing. And people really want electric vehicles. They're ready to move to the electric vehicles, seemingly. And seemingly they want options other than Tesla. I mean, Tesla's out there, but it looks, for whatever reason, people want some other options. And this represents a big one. The brand obtained 33,000 prospects, including 7,300 reservations. And then 26,000 more customers showed interest in Kia's first dedicated battery electric vehicle. So I guess they're not considered a prospect, but they showed some interest. Well, that's interesting. Customers will be able to order the EV6 from their local dealer from today, ahead of production starting in mid-2021. So there's also that aspect, which is when you're a Kia or a Hyundai, you have this dealership network. And some people are comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Like you got a dealer in every town. And so a person can go and like check out a car, test drive a car. They maybe already got a car from that brand and they can trade in their other car. It's a little more traditional in that sense, as opposed to going online, spec it. Tesla has had no trouble moving units in that fashion, but there's obviously some leftover market based on interest that we're seeing here in Europe for this particular vehicle. The Kia EV6 starts at 44,990 euros, which could mean the U.S. price is around 45,000. It'll come with a 58 kilowatt hour battery pack, but there's talk of a dual motor all-wheel drive version and a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack. So you got options just like on the Tesla side. So Will, are you going to take this one or are you going to stick with the Model 3? What are you going to do? I like going shopping with Willie
This
Do.
is a close competitor.
He doesn't actually have to buy it. He just has to pretend.
Yeah. Window shopping. I'll still go with the Model 3.
Okay.
Although it's close.
They didn't get you. I thought they might have got you.
Nah.
I'm going to keep working on it on behalf of Kia. I'm going to keep marketing to you.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can change that. It's tough. I mean, you're a Tesla guy. Let's speak about Ford for a minute. They are launching some new off-road options. A lot of people are getting off the road, off the beaten track. I've been trying to do it. You know, I'm out there in the wilderness.
Van life?
Yeah, I'm the van life guy.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Ford, they have a van. They're going to do an electric version of it soon. It's called the Transit. And it's not as popular as the Mercedes Sprinter for the van conversion things, but it's becoming more popular now. They got an all-wheel drive version. It's not the same as four-wheel drive, but they got an all-wheel drive version. It's a little bit wider than the Sprinter, and the availability right now seems to be a little bit better if you did want to do some sort of off-road van. But yeah, with this has nothing to do with van life. This is around the Explorer SUV and possibly other models in their lineup, because they've noticed some evidence that more and more people are going off-road. More and more people are going out into the wilderness. Ford reports there's been a 56% increase in off-road use over the last 3 years for their Explorer owners. That's a huge increase. 56% increase in people attempting to go off-road. And so what they're doing here with this model and then presumably some other models in the future is they're offering a Timberline model. They're going to call it Timberline. And that's going to take a regular Explorer SUV and upgrade the off-road capabilities. And that would be a package that you would get on top of the vehicle, which would cost, in this case, I think it's $13,000 over the base model. And then you would have this. I presume you're going to have bigger tires. You're going to have more ground clearance. These are the things you need.
Oh, better suspension as well? Or?
Willie do.
Okay.
You're on fire today, by the way. So never mind about me getting seeing you like this at 5:47 p.m. That's been a minute, as the kids say.
Yeah.
So you actually have to explain to us what you've been getting up to. Yeah. How did you recover?
A lot of sleep.
Yeah.
It's just straight up sleep. Really basic.
You doubled up on the sleep?
Yes.
Interesting. So what time did you go to bed at? Or did you sleep in the morning?
No, I took a nap after I went home. For like 2 hours. It's not really a nap at that point.
Well, that's a huge nap, a 2-hour nap. Wow.
And then
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something.
Sure.
How do you calm down in order to get into the nap state? You arrive home. What steps do you take to like drift off into the nap?
You know what, man? Like after work, I get pretty tired. I get kind of like loopy. I just lie down and then I go to bed.
Wow.
I could if I wanted to.
Huh.
So that's what I did. And I woke up and I watched a new show. It's called Invincible on Amazon Prime.
Any good?
Great.
Whoa.
Great. Yeah.
How many episodes into it are you?
Around 5.
Oh, wow. So you are in a position to call it great. You've seen enough of it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm invested.
There you go. You got a Willie Do pick
and then
right there.
I slept for another 12 hours.
That's like sort of a mini wild card right there. Since you're so reluctant to do it, you can't just put a little piece in there.
Well, you gotta stay here. No. You can't just walk away.
Oh, you don't understand how the wild card works.
That's how it works.
Yeah, you don't understand how it works. I gotta clear. Your wild card round is like a jumbo jet. It's like a 747. It needs a ton of runway to land on. It's so huge. I can't be in the way of that.
Well,
ranting and raving and taking up the air. I can't. I gotta get out the way when you come with the wild card.
Well, we'll see.
Anyway, so they're going to bring that to presumably a couple different SUVs, but in the meantime, that's going to be your first one, the Explorer Timberline. Go ahead, get off road.
It's nice.
PS5 designer helps Nike. How about this collab? You got PlayStation, Nike, and Paul George. And they all come together to put together some sneakers inspired by PlayStation 5. Now, it's not the first time they've worked together, actually. They did a version inspired by the original PlayStation, the PG 2.5. That was, the original PlayStation. That was their last collaboration, which was actually over 2 years ago at this point. And then they have worked together previously before that on a PS4 inspired version. Presumably this one is inspired by the PlayStation 5 with the white and the blue. And so they all have to come together and have some little say, but the famous designer here, Eugene Morisawa, the PS5 designer, actually worked on this thing.
Oh, right on.
So if you want to get in touch with him, you just got to be Nike or Paul George, I guess. You just pick up the phone and then all of a sudden.
Did Paul George have a say?
I don't know. They don't really say too much about that in here. I presume
he's like, I like it.
No, I presume he has some. They probably show him a few options.
Yeah.
And because he's got to wear the shoe.
Oh, that's cool.
In the game, he's got to wear the shoe at some point. But it's interesting. It's an interesting collab because he's PG, PlayStation is PS. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm connecting the dots. I got the cork board out, or the Beautiful Mind, the Rain Man. Just
all the equations.
But he's PG and they're PS. It's like so
Illuminati.
It's like so. Those different letters. So anyway, PS5 shoes look kind of cool. Actually, you know what? I don't mind them as far as a basketball sneaker is concerned.
They're nice. Yeah,
I like black and white together, like a black and white motif. It kind of like it kind of have similar styling on the way I spec the car, my car, black and white. I like black and white styling.
Now, do you think that it'll be tacky if it lit up?
Like a PlayStation?
Yeah.
That has a chime?
It almost looks like it's lit up because it's just so like blue.
Yeah.
Very,
well, you can't have all those components in there. He's wearing it on the court.
I know, that's true.
He needs lightweight and all the rest of it, but here's the other cool part. It's not gonna cost you an absolute fortune. They're gonna release May 27 at $120. So it's not gonna be like some presuming there's stock and everything. It's not gonna be one of those crazy limited runs that boost the price up. $120. If you're interested, Sony says you should keep your eye on the Nike sneakers app or your local Nike website. Cool. So maybe they do expect it to sell well. Maybe you have trouble getting your hands on. Then you end up on a Goat app, or you end up on a Stock X, and then you pay $1,000. I don't recommend doing that. Yeah. Elon Musk lures workers back to the office with wild horses. That's it. We're gonna move on to the next one. That's all I'm gonna say to you. What a headline! I mean, they got me, Laura. You got me over on Fool.com. Feeling like a fool. This was an Instagram post. I read the article. I saw, okay, it's an Instagram post. I'm like, wait, Elon Musk doesn't use Instagram. So I'm like, oh, this was a post from Tesla. Tesla's Instagram account recruiting potential employees because they're building this massive facility in Nevada. And they're looking for people to come work there. The Instagram post, which, by the way, has been deleted now, another interesting thing, promoted the idea to come to the new Nevada factory battery plant, which may become the world's largest building when it's completed. An expected 6 million square foot footprint, equal to 126 football fields. And then when you count the different floors, you could be looking between 10 and 15 million square feet.
Nice.
Can you even fathom 15 million square feet? Just like you open the door and there's 15 million square feet.
If it's an empty room.
Yeah, just one empty room, 15 million square feet. Yeah. Would you go curl up in the corner?
Yeah. I'll just put my desk right here alongside the wall.
Not right in the middle? You try to find the middle spot. You try to find the middle spot.
Get lost.
15 million square feet. Anyway, no, I'm sure they got a plan for it. But anyway, the post said, come work at the biggest and most advanced factory on Earth, located by a river near the beautiful Sierra Nevada mountains with wild horses roaming free.
So he actually didn't rent the horses.
No. There's apparently horses around that region, and he was just using them as sort of a natural. Right. But I don't even think he wrote this, to be fair, because like I said, he's not on. Does he proof these recruitment posts? So that's a bit misleading. But anyway, the other thing in this article, they got mad about using the wild horses because they're saying, well, you're putting this huge gigafactory. Maybe the wild horses don't like that too much. And all the people you're about to bring in to go into this gigafactory to sit in the middle of 15 million square feet, unless you're going to invite the horses in, which I doubt you're going to do.
No.
So I guess people were, I don't know. Really, this is a headline. I just wanted to say these words. I just needed to investigate the headline. And now I have forced everybody who watches this to also investigate the headline. What do horses have to do with anything? Well, now you know. Not much, but they're there. And if you go work at the Gigafactory, you might see one. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. SpaceX. Over 500,000 orders already for Starlink satellite internet service. That's not nothing.
No, that's good.
People want space internet. They had the pre-orders going on $99, and it was refundable because then they were going to charge you another $500 for your starter kit. And I think they're going to make some money on this thing. It turns out there's a lot more underserviced people than you may think that are in these type of locations. Because you sit there and you go, okay, yeah, rural. Who's rural? Who needs this? And then you see 500,000 orders, and the thing's not even out yet. And you're like, oh, man, a lot of people. A lot of people live rural and can take advantage of this. What's the quote here? To date, over half a million people have placed an order or put down a deposit for Starlink. This is recent, by the way. It was a webcast on the 26th that they were talking about how, I guess, successful they've been so far. It's also the world's largest satellite constellation now, with more than 1,500 Starlink satellites launched to orbit to date. So, they're positioned here. They're ahead of the game. You know, there's been that little dispute, Elon and Jeff going back and forth, who gets to own the satellites. I watched, oh my God, Will, I watched just a conspiracy video about an Elon tweet which referenced the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack, and then this person went in and actually decoded the playlist and took the first letter of each thing and somehow connected it to Doge, and then somehow connected that to the model of satellite that would be used for these applications in space, suggesting that these satellites would eventually form the basis of a crypto network, that the satellites would be the financials, would be distributing the I don't.
Go on. That sounds like
dude,
a late nighter.
And I was actually like, as far as at least the first part of it, like looking at the playlist and finding, like, they found Doge #1 inside the playlist by taking the first letter of each song and the way it was organized, and they were able to spell Doge #1. Like, that doesn't seem by accident. But definitely somebody's having too much fun. Well, everybody's having too much fun. It's obvious. Go look at the price. Everybody's having too much fun. And then you have Ethereum Classic today, which is just, excuse me? Will, what if you just put like 10 grand into Ethereum Classic a month ago? Why didn't you do that?
Well, I should have. Yeah. Where is it right now?
Oh, there it is. It's up 164%?
Yes.
On 7 days. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And what's Doge? It's beating Doge now, right? Doge is 101.
Fourth.
Yeah. No, I meant in 7-day growth. Doge has slowed down a little bit.
It's at 100.
Yeah, it slowed down a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's out of control, this stuff.
Romeo and Juliet.
I'm just telling you, man. Go look at it. You'll find the guy. You'll find the guy on YouTube. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Man.
I'll make it my nightly investigation.
I mean, you don't have to. It's pretty much what I just said is the extent of it, but whatever. Births fall to a 42-year low in the U.S. New CDC data shows. So the whole COVID thing hasn't been so great for babies or birth rate. What do we have here? The number of births in the U.S. fell 4% in 2020, dropping to the lowest level since 1979 and continuing a multi-year trend of declining birth rates. The agency reported 3.6 million births, down from 3.7.5 the year prior, but it's been like a steady trend downward. Here we go. The general fertility rate dropped a record low in 2020, falling to 55.8 births per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44. That's a 4% drop in that particular category. And this is another one. The total fertility rate, which reflects the average number of times a woman would give birth in her lifetime, declined to a record low, falling to 1,637 births per 1,000 women. And this is the key component, because that's how you get into replacement conversation about all the old people and who's taking care of the old people and how quickly can you make the robots. Because if you can't get the replacement number, then you don't have the fresh blood. You can't you can't completely get a generation to replace the previous generation. And so you end up with you don't actually need a huge discrepancy to not have enough people. Do you know what I'm saying here? Or at least that's the concern. And it's where you're seeing it play out in other places as well. It just hasn't been so rapid in the US as some of the other places. You know, we talk about Japan.
Yeah.
You talk about certain places in Europe. So if you have 1,600 births per 1,000 women, then you're not at replacement levels. You need like 2,100 to be at replacement levels. And it's only keeps trending down. So you end up with this inverse triangle situation where the people who need the most help, the oldest who are living longer than ever before, those who need the most care, have the least number of people capable of taking care of them.
Right.
And the same goes economically speaking, because there's a period of time in your life where you're the most economically productive, and that thing gets flipped upside down as well. And this is a conversation that's affecting a lot of the world. I mean, it's not exclusive to the U.S. There's a conversation like this in China specifically, or especially around a recent census. I find this stuff interesting. I know I covered it a few times on the channel, and people seem to click on it. It's a curious thing that sort of affects us all. And you had the conversation around overpopulation for so long.
Yeah.
It was like, how are we going to deal with all the... And then you have these very specific markets now that are saying, we like South Korea, for example. Yeah. They're like, can you guys have a couple of babies real quick? And they're actually, the government trying to incentivize it because they're forecasting this impending situation where you really don't know if it's going to be economically viable for all the people who worked their whole lives to get their pensions even. Because no one's paying into the tax pool of the next generation. Like, it's just math. It's just math.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter how you feel about it. It's just the way it's always been, that there's been this replacement of a generation. Now, the last time we talked about it, I'm sure we covered this, and I kind of insinuated at the beginning, there's like a hope that we become more efficient and that group of people finds a way to be taken care of through automation or technology. Yeah. But it just hasn't really panned out yet. And especially in the scope of COVID right now, where you got all the COVID is a perfect is evidence, because you look at the people that got hit the hardest. How about the people who were working in those the highest risk facilities, where you got a lot of old people there and they were just super exposed and people didn't want those gigs. Do you see what I'm saying? When you have a limited selection in the workforce and you need people to do those things because you have the population that requires, it's just tough.
Yeah, that's where I feel like robotics would have an upper hand. That's where we actually need like robots or assistants.
Here's the other part of that, though, and I'm going to sound like romantic right now.
You need the love and care.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just saying, man, if you're going to spend the last 6 years of your life in one of these facilities because you're no longer capable of taking care of yourself, do you spend let's say we get to the point where the robots are capable of lifting you up and bathing you and putting a spoon in your mouth. It looks a pretty grim. Look, man.
No, I hear you on that side too, you know, but you definitely don't want to risk them, the younger folk too, right? I would feel bad if I was bedridden and then, you know, someone comes over who has their whole life in front of them, is taking care of me. Like, if it was... Well,
there's some people, I mean, in our community, in our society right now, that feel compelled to do that type of work.
Yeah, they're willing to give that up.
Some people are just...
give to society.
Wired up in such a fashion that line of work to them is more compelling than, let's say, working on an assembly line or working at the Amazon or driving for the food delivery.
Yeah.
Like we can't really say, but the one thing's for certain, if the pool shrinks as a whole, so do your options.
Yeah. You don't want to force anyone to do it, but, you know, it's just sucky situation.
Well, we're talking about a very specific aspect of this whole situation. But the bigger one that affects everyone is the economic one, is who is the workforce? People do want to retire at some point.
Yeah.
And the retirement is paid for by the existing workforce. So either way, whether you even want to talk about that end of life stuff or the aging population, it starts a lot sooner. Your conundrum starts at retirement, not death or close to death.
Sure, yeah.
It's all those years that you're going to be banking on that pension or whatever it might be.
You pay it forward.
Yeah. So anyway, they think that the pandemic exacerbated the decline that was already happening. But as mentioned, this is a thing that's not exclusive to the United States. You're seeing it. And I should also just mention, tough time to have a baby.
No kidding.
with everything that's going on in the world, I mean, there's certainly some consideration being put into it that would contribute to these figures, but it's more the multi-year pattern that's important here from the 70s than it is about any one given year, even though this may have accelerated things. So 42-year low in the U.S., very interesting stuff. Humans always fix one problem and create another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in China, they had a one-child policy. They had to cool things off at one moment, and now they're in a Korea position of saying...
It's kind of flipped.
That they got the same triangle that a lot of other nations are working with. It's hard to manage us, these humans, guys like,
Yeah.
Japan is opening its first ever esports gym in Tokyo.
Oh.
You're not going to make a lot of babies in there, I'll tell you what.
No. Good. They really tried.
I don't know what you mean by that. I don't even think I'm going to ask what you mean by that. You can book 3-hour slots at a PC and pay for coaching from professional gamers. These are things that exist actually elsewhere. Obviously, the professional gaming market exploding, expanding. It'll surpass $1 billion in global revenue by 2021. The industry stands to surpass $1 billion global revenue by 2021. People are figuring out, okay, if my mission is to become an esports professional, then what am I supposed to be doing on a daily basis right now? How do I prepare for such a thing? And if we're going to call it a sport, then wouldn't a training regimen be something similar to what an athlete would be every day?
Yeah.
Right.
Same with like a tutor or something.
Yeah.
If you want to be an academic.
Sure. Yeah. It's a similar coaching concept. Gamers can book 3-hour time slots at one of the PCs for about $13 or opt for a monthly membership starting at $50. To me, it kind of looks like a internet cafe, but I guess they put that extra twist on it and they have gaming chairs. So it's not an internet cafe because they have gaming chairs.
Yeah, it makes it legit.
However, if you scroll a little further down, you're going to see a state-of-the-art facility they put in South Korea, which is actually 10 stories. It's the T1 building where gamers train in Seoul. And they're not messing around. This one features or houses 70 professional gamers, and they have access to a Nike-sponsored gym, on-site nutritionists, and English language classes.
Wow.
We have a gym, a cafeteria, chefs, everything that these young players need to perform their best. John Kim, the organization's chief operating officer, told AFP. So, yeah, maybe we're going to see more of this stuff going on.
Right on. And
it feels like some kind of like science fiction X-Men thing. Like imagine you grow up in that thing there, that 10-story building with a Nike gym and a personal chef. What happens when, do these professional games have to be earning money, or could it be a prospect that is being sponsored to be there because they're, as a team, they're going to, I guess it's probably both.
Yeah, maybe both.
Yeah. There was a woman who was missing for months, hadn't been seen, stopped showing up to work. They had presumed that she was gone for good. And then Utah officials found her. And they realized that she kind of wasn't missing at all. 47-year-old woman had been camping. She had been out there for months and had been surviving on foraged grass and moss. I didn't even know we could survive on such a thing.
Only that?
Well, I don't know. And that's in the article here, Will.
Whoa.
They believe the woman who was weak and had lost weight chose to stay in the Diamond Fork area over the last few months. They couldn't contact her. They had talked to coworkers. They had no idea where she was. They were doing a search, crashed a drone, went to retrieve the crashed drone, and then found the tent and discovered the woman. Here's a quote from, by the way, they brought her to a local hospital for a mental health evaluation. They said, the sheriff said, while many people might choose to not live in the circumstances and conditions this woman did, she did nothing against the law. And in the future, she might choose to return to the same area. Resources were made available to her should she decide to use them.
Wow.
So, really, an interesting turn of events. I mean, that is some next level off-grid situation. But it's interesting to see the sheriff say it in that way. Like, hey, if that's how she wants to live, then
right,
so be it.
Yeah, kind of like a nomad life.
It's like, it's about to get philosophical in here, but it's like, when is a person actually missing? Oh, only if they're not where they intend to be.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I mean, if, you know.
If they're in danger, yeah. If they're out of their,
sure, yeah.
Like, but this one is a weird one because it's like they found her and she was frail, and they were like, I don't know, maybe she needs some help. So like, is there an implication there that she wasn't going to make it? Because in that case, I would say, yeah, you kind of are missing. But if it was she would live in exactly the way she wanted,
yeah, then
no, you're not missing at all.
They tried asking her, like, do you want to live this way?
Well, the way that he phrased it at the end there.
Like, yeah, I'm just foraging grass and eating it. Do you want
I
some?
think she would. I think when they found her, she's a little weaker than that.
I see.
That's my feeling on that. But
I guess she shouldn't be considered missing if she is kind of just living her life and she doesn't need assistance. Right?
Yeah, assistance is a big one in this case. Yeah, because there could be other issues that would lead a person in this direction.
Yeah.
That it might not be the sense that where they're immediately in danger, but where
it's like a slow, gradual decline.
This actually is very complex, actually. A lot of people make decisions that aren't the greatest for them. Anyway, I don't know. At least she's on their radar now. And if she does decide to go back, I guess somebody can go check up on her. From time to time. This is the opposite of that. Starbucks has responded after a tweet went viral about an incredibly complicated Starbucks order. And you know what, Will? I got a lot of I'm pent up on this one.
Why?
So, you know something? This is one of those jumbo jet moments. I'm going to get out the way. I'm going to let you tackle this one first. Because I don't want to color it. I don't want to just hit it as hard as I'm about to hit it. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Up to bat, the pitch is coming in. It's too obvious. So I want to see, maybe you have something different than I do. Maybe it's gonna change my approach.
Yeah, I read this story, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Based on Starbucks' response, which is like, hey, the customer is right. You know, we've always pride ourselves in making custom drinks. So let them do what they want. And the barista should, cooperate. I don't know if I agree with that, because there's just going to be times where people are just going to troll and just get like this outrageous drink. And then I don't know. I don't think that's really fair. But I don't have a conclusion on this one. I really don't know.
So for me, when I saw the reply from Starbucks, it was a component that I hadn't considered really. When I saw the tweet, I thought to myself, you know what? Of course. Yeah, of course people do this crazy stuff. I know your order in this case is insane. I mean, this person has, 20 line items. I should just inform people of what the order was that went viral on Twitter. It's a picture from a Starbucks employee that says, what was the caption? We got to get the right caption. It is a key, is very important. On this episode of Why I Want to Quit My Job. See, that is a key piece to me. Never mind the order, but I'll get back to that in a moment. So the order is about 20 line items for a person named Edward. It is a venti caramel crunch frappuccino, 5 banana. I don't know what that means. Do they even have bananas at Starbucks? I don't know what that means.
Is it like flavoring?
But usually it would say pump if it was a liquid flavoring. Anyway, 5 banana, extra caramel drizzle, extra whip, extra ice, extra cinnamon topping, 7 pumps, add dark caramel sauce, extra caramel crunch. Each one of these is an individual line. 1 pump honey blend, extra salted something, 5 pumps frap rest cough, 7 add frap chips, heavy cream, double blended. Each one of those is a line of an instruction of how to make, and this came via mobile order. Mm-hmm. All right, so it's nuts. However, it did not surprise me one bit. You give people this level of control, particularly you give them an app.
Yeah.
And an app is intuitive and has a fun interface, and they're like, deep, 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 1155.
Yeah.
But it started a chain of events where each barista was one-upping each other, and they would say, I raise you this, and here's one with 30 line items, sugar, milk, heavy cream, extra whip, stevia, cold foam. Like, it's definitely not completely uncommon. Mm-hmm. People are doing crazy stuff on their Starbucks order.
Yeah.
And man, you give human beings opportunity. You give them some level of control. You give human beings the ability to tell another human being what to do. Yeah. You give them the option. They will take it and run with it. They will go to the extent. Somebody will. I'm not saying everybody.
Yeah. Most people will just, chill.
But this is what got me about the whole thing. When I saw it, I thought, yeah, of course. But what didn't really cross my mind is how upset Starbucks would be about the trend, about the trending topic. It didn't cross my mind. I was like, okay, we can all be honest. This is a bit obscene. But at the same time, it reminds you that Starbucks is the only one that's going to do it for you. But then I looked at the caption again after seeing the reply from Starbucks. And when the caption said on this episode of Why I Want to Quit My Job Today, on today's episode of Why I Want to Quit My... And then I thought to myself, okay, Starbucks probably doesn't like that. Because that implies that people aren't enjoying working there. It implies that people aren't enjoying making these things. Mm-hmm. It's not as simple as check out this wild order. This is what my day consists of on a frequent basis, and I don't like it.
It's a negative connotation to Starbucks.
And so I'm Starbucks and I see this huge attention that goes to the tweet with that caption, and I come out and make a statement, and their statement is defensive. They're saying, look, we love making these drinks. Don't let that confuse you about the fact that this irritates us, because it doesn't irritate us, the corporation. It definitely irritates the individual, but they can't possibly get behind that, because where do you draw the line? If you're Starbucks, what do you say? You get 4 modifications, 6, 10, what?
But also, how often do these orders come in? Like these ridiculous orders. Right?
They've done the math. I bet you Starbucks has run the numbers, and they would say, look, for each one of these, we have 50 normal ones, and we're prepared, in order to represent a particular image, we're prepared to take that on. Now, granted, this thing goes viral, and everybody wants to jump on a troll bandwagon, as you suggested. It could throw a real wrench in the operation. Mm-hmm. If you're taking a drink that has 3 or 4 steps to it, and you make it a 20-step thing, and it's a busy Starbucks, you can really slow things down for customers.
Right.
So they may have to reevaluate at some point. But it's just it's my own problem, because I look at these things and I can't just have a laugh at it. I have to think to myself, okay, I'm sitting in the Starbucks office and I got to figure out how I'm going to play this.
Sure.
I got to figure out, am I going to put a reply or not put, because they could have just let it go down. They could have let it vanish. But They want it to be clear this is a differentiator for us, and it is. No matter who's complaining, no matter what these tweets say, ain't no other shop going to deal with you with that list.
Yeah.
And they're standing there, and they're actually standing up straight saying, yeah, we know it's crazy, and we're the only ones who's going to do it for you.
They doubled down.
So they took it as a point of pride. Now, the individual hates it. The corporation, not so much. However, as a human, strictly human speaking, taking myself out of the shoes of having a corporate damage control, this is insane. Somebody needs to tell these people need some serious help. You're just, it's so specific, Will. It's so specific and comprehensive, these lists that they're doing.
Yeah.
And you are asking a single individual to do it because it's when you send a drink through, it's one person that's going to be making it.
Yeah.
And
I want to meet this person, see what they're like.
You know what?
The person who ordered the drink.
You know what I think it is, Will?
It could very well be like a troll.
You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think if you confront this person, now, I don't know, I could be wrong, and it's not going to be the same for everyone. I think if you confront this person, they're not going to defend it. I think if you confront this, they're going to
like,
be,
oh, yeah, I know it's a bit too much, but I want to have fun at
It's
Starbucks.
crazy. I know it's crazy. I'm crazy. Yeah. I'm crazy like that.
Yeah.
You know, I have this experience on social media. If you ever reply to somebody as being super harsh and you just say to them, hey, why are you being so harsh?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, sorry about that.
He replied.
Yeah, it happens, man. Yeah. And you're like, there's a certain gamification of things where they're almost playing, they could be playing the Starbucks app like a game. Tick, 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 like how they're playing their Robinhood app.
Sure.
Or their crypto or their Coinbase. Like, dee, 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 dee. I'm bored. Dee, 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 dee. If you're busy, you ain't doing that if you're busy. Yeah. If you're doing something and it's productive and you're doing something, you're not doing that.
I agree.
How long does that take to just type all that out or to check every?
Sure, yeah. It's like it's missing my 2 pumps of cinnamon sugar. I don't taste it in my concoction here. Yeah.
Hey, man. Something for everyone out there. I mean, you want to play the Starbucks app instead of the rest of your life? I guess. What can I say? How can I say it was important? And I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe it's the highlight of your week. You save up all week.
Yeah, why not?
For your wacky, wild, venti 2 pump, 5 pump, 6 banana. That one has 12 banana. That one has 12. I don't even know what the banana thing is. Now it has 12 banana. You know what this like? This like when a little kid pours everything into the container.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, it's so good. And then they take one sip and they're like,
yuck.
Like, wouldn't it be amazing if you just put one of everything in?
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. I'm not doing that. If you're looking for my take, I'm not doing that. In fact, I am fairly anti-modification on this particular order in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to, I think, what do you think is the right amount of mods? How many mods before you're overboard? What do you think? Like 2 mods, 3 mods?
Can it be like bubble tea where it's just like, I don't know, 3 or 4 and then that's it?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
That's it.
Yeah, I like 3 or 4. We solved it. The number 1 cause of obesity according to science. You want to take a guess? Over 42% of Americans now suffer from obesity. You want to take a guess? The number 1 cause according to science?
Let's say sugar.
It's not a bad guess. I mean, sugar definitely play a role in it. No, here's what I like about the article here. They don't pull any punches.
Oh.
Here's a quote. The best way to prevent obesity Oh, wait. No. Here we go. I got it. It's better. The number one cause is by eating too much and moving too little.
Well, yeah.
That's in the article right here. According to Dr. Viana, there isn't a number one cause. That would make treatment a lot easier. The NIH is a little more specific, however. I guess that's the National Institute of Health. Is that in the UK? Anyway, they say the number one cause is, in quotes, by eating too much and moving too little. If you consume high amounts of energy, particularly fats and sugars, but do not burn off energy through exercise or physical activity, the surplus energy will be stored by the body as fat. That's it.
Plain and simple.
You know what's weird about this? Is how because it's human, it has to become complex. Like there's some other, where's the magic trick? But like you got your dog over there. If you just fill the bowl, he'll eat the bowl. And if you don't take him on a walk and you do it over and over again, what do you think's going to happen to that dog?
He becomes chonky. Right?
Seems pretty obvious. It seems pretty obvious. And I know it's a sensitive topic and everything else, but and to be fair, there's reasons why people have trouble being active as well. Pre-existing injuries, other problems,
COVID,
inabilities, COVID, things like this.
Yeah.
But then what does it come down to at that point is you got to stop eating. If you, for whatever reason, can't move, then you can't be putting in the, but there's psychology involved and food is fun. And
yeah,
but I got to admit, man, it was kind of refreshing to read that. I was like, oh, wow, that's some simple math right there. I just want to read it one more time. If you consume by eating too much and moving too little. By eating too much and moving too little. Isn't that refreshing to hear that?
You're going to get a tattoo of it?
No, because like I have this experience in my life. If I eat too much and I don't move, guess what happens?
Yeah.
I get fat. If I move more or eat less, I understand that for some people it just represents something much bigger than that. And everybody has a different starting point, and I hear all that, but it's like at some point, it's also nice to just see the simple version of it, which seemingly doesn't ever get discussed.
Yeah.
And again, that's the NIH that says that, not me, all right? So for whatever discrepancy or disclaimer I haven't put in here that somebody wants to hear from me right now, that's the NIH, not me. I just said it's not the message you hear all that often about this situation.
So what does this say here?
How to prevent it? Yeah, I was just going to
just move.
Well, yeah, I mean, she got headphones on. She's outside.
Just like straight up move.
Yeah, the best way to prevent is to maintain a healthy lifestyle, exercise, and whatever, healthy diet. That's it. I don't know. Processed foods are no. Put protein, whole grain, vegetable, fruit. Yeah, I mean, it is weird how simple it is. I once saw something about diets. I think it was a Netflix Explained about how every diet has been the same that since the beginning of diets. You know what I mean? That it would be some kind of twist to make it seem as though this was going to be the magic trick.
Yeah.
Like just avoid this one thing and then you're all set. Right. Or eat as much as you want of this other thing. But then, and it's like, it's energy. It's like plugging in your solar panel or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Like if you, it's not like that at all.
I mean, it could be binary the way that you can think about it,
Yeah, like is your battery full for the day?
Yeah.
Don't keep it plugged in. Unplug it. But food is delicious. You see, that's the thing.
But I feel like some people have to work harder. They have to move a lot more based on like their metabolism, I guess.
But if that's that person, then they have to eat less.
They have to be aware of their like situation.
Yeah. They had to eat less. And then that will adjust over time, right? Like it's not going to be instantaneous.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to just take on a day and be like, Like there's all kinds of apps and things you can
Everyone's looking for a quick answer.
Monitor. There's all kinds of ways to keep track of your nutrition if you want to. But look, I like eating too. I could just as easily say, "Oh, listen," and go grab the Ben and Jerry's, and there you go. But if you look at the label on that thing, like nobody needs that.
Yeah,
that baby's gonna wipe. That's gonna wipe you out. Like that's. I'm Otis with the extra bowl. You know what I mean? And it's a weird kind of. Isn't it a weird?
But it's so delicious.
But isn't it a weird pattern? Because what happens is you enjoy the food so much, it wipes you out, so you won't do anything. It's a pattern to it.
Yeah. A vicious cycle.
You used to be heavier, didn't you?
I don't know. I guess so. I border like around 180 pounds.
Yeah. But you didn't make any conscious decision like, oh, I'm about to drop 5 pounds?
No. Again, I think it's like just kind of being aware of it. You kind of check in with yourself. At least I do.
How do you do it, Will?
How do I do this?
How do you keep that thing?
Squirreless figure?
How do you keep that going?
I don't know. Just regular stuff.
Okay, here's
Nothing like, you know.
Here's the real question. This is the critical question in this.
Oh.
What's easier? Less food or more exercise?
What's easier?
Yeah. What if I said to you, you have to choose one or the other, less food or more exercise?
I would do less food, I would say.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's easier for you to just eat less.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm not like I don't have a sweet tooth. So I like salt. I'm a big salt guy. Sometimes I just grab like a giant salt lick and I start licking it.
Tell me about your salt habit.
I'm a horse. Yeah.
What do you reach for with the salt?
French fries are a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Really unhealthy.
Very unhealthy. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't eat sweets. That's what helps naturally, I guess.
You skip a few calories over there.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, no, the reason I ask is because I think it's a critical one, because if you really enjoy exercise, then you can lean on that one.
For sure, yeah.
And you can track that, and you can unlock all kinds of extra delicious foods.
Yeah, exactly.
And then on the flip side, if you don't really care about eating all that much, you can, and you don't like exercise all that much, you can just be a little bit more diligent on the front end.
Yeah.
It's a front end, back end type of thing.
For sure, yeah. I feel like people who exercise, they don't really cheat that often. Or maybe I'm just
some people. Yeah, some people love the cheat aspect. Like I worked so hard, and then on Friday I'm having cheeseburgers and whatever else.
Yeah. My buddy is he's just really into exercising. Every day could be his cheat day. He's so athletic, but yet he doesn't eat anything outrageous.
Yeah, well, because it kind of one predicates the other. You notice if you're really athletic, you notice how your performance is aligned with your nutrition and whatever else. Yeah. But
what about you?
But the number one cause of obesity is eating too much and moving too little.
Okay. Would you exercise more or eat less?
If I only had to choose one or the other. I would choose exercise more, but it's just not feasible. Like the way my lifestyle is set up is really not feasible. So whenever I get a chance to do activity, I do. But like my thing used to be playing hockey, and it got wiped out with all the. I was playing hockey on a regular basis in the men's league and getting a real like cardio workout, and it would feel tremendous. Like I would actually get a euphoric feeling from it. And when it's been canceled now for like a year or whatever it is, and so, I mean, that used to be a one way to carve out some nice moments, like physical activity moments. But now I think this is probably true for a lot of people, because you mentioned COVID has impacted all kinds of people's activities. I mean, the gyms are closed and whatever else.
Yeah,
it's had to be an extra focus on consumption because your production,
Sure, yeah.
I'll call exercise, your production has taken a hit for a lot of people. But hey, you know, you can go for a run. The road is available. You can go for a bike. There are things you can do. You can lift weights if you choose at your own premises. I mean, my boys recently become obsessed with just push-up challenges and things like this.
Oh, there you go.
So who knows? They might get me into shape. I don't know. Archaeologists uncover Africa's oldest intentional human burial. This is the oldest deliberate burial of a modern human ever discovered in Africa, dating back 78,300 years.
Wow.
And it was actually a child wrapped tightly in some kind of material, placed into a circular grave. There's a kind of like an image of what it may have looked like. And this is important. They study this stuff because the idea of a burial is an indication of a level of intelligence, right? There's no other species that does such a thing. We would have to have prescribed some level of significance, manipulation of the environment for us to say, okay, I wasn't there, as a species, to determine that we would put some sort of significance around death, let's say, and therefore, as a consequence, go create a burial or a ritual of any kind, for that matter,
tradition.
And so when they're trying to map human intelligence, development, things like this, these would be critical findings, because they say, okay, here we got 78,300 years.
Right.
So here's where we may have been at from a intelligence perspective. Here's where we may have been at 78,000 years ago, though he had already developed such a thing. Believe it or not, though, it's not the oldest finding period. It's just the oldest one they got in Africa. There's a previous one. They found a Neanderthal site in Israel, 122,000-year-old burial site. And then another one that was 90,000 years old. So, I mean...
So what makes it intentional?
Well, what they mean by that is it's not like a body that died and had been covered by natural events. Like when they find a fossil of a dinosaur or something, it would be like, oh, the cliff fell over, the mudslide trapped them, or the big storm, or whatever.
Right, gotcha.
This is that they had reason to believe that this individual had been placed there. I mean, here's, Willie, you just found the section. The presence of symbolic aspects elevates treatment of the dead from mortuary behavior to funerary behavior. The burial reported reveals care and effort taken to achieve a desired body position by supporting the child's head and wrapping the upper body. So, like, you didn't die like that.
Right.
Like, somebody interacted with the body to present it in such a fashion. There you have your connection to intent and consideration.
Yeah.
That you're looking for. All right, here's the last one. You should never clean your toilet with a toilet brush. Experts warn.
Oh.
You ever seen a brush for a toilet?
I don't want to.
What do you mean? You never saw one before?
Like up close? I know it's dirty. It's like...
No, I'm not telling you to see it up close. I'm just asking if you ever used it before.
Of course, yeah, I use it. Like,
yeah.
you know, every week.
So everyone has that. Like you put it in a side and everyone has this thing, and then they're saying, don't you dare keep that thing around. They're saying don't even use it. Don't bother buying it in the first place. These experts.
Okay.
They say this common tool sitting next to most toilets in the U.S. Should be done away with. Toilet brushes, here we go. What does it say? A fetid liquid bacteria soup at the bottom of every toilet brush holder. Toilet brushes can be hazardous to your health. Keep in mind, the bacteria from the toilet water and the trapped fecal matter and toilet paper is unsanitary and unhealthy. And as it sits in the little container there, it allows extra toxic bacteria to harbor and grow, causing you illness such as urinary tract infections, diarrhea, and respiratory illness, because you might like take the thing and then rub too high on the thing and then brush the bot and then you just reintroduce the...
Yeah. Oh.
Because you don't clean... How do you clean the brush? You can't clean the brush.
Exactly, yeah. You can't clean the brush.
It's too... You can't really clean it.
Every time I like pick it up, man, like...
You think something's off about it.
No, I just feel like it... I want to throw up. Because it's like, it's just... You know where it's been. And it's not being cleaned.
You can't clean the brush.
Yeah. And it's right beside where you do your business. So...
You want to know what they're saying, Will? They're just saying put your rubber gloves on and do it by hand. And then flush it. Just
do it by hand?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They're saying just reach in there. Just reach in there and wipe it down with rubber gloves on.
Oh, with no brush?
No brush. They're saying be done with the brush.
Huh.
Just get in there and scrub it and dispose of the contents. Now, there are contraptions that will actually hold a little flushable piece, and you'll clean with that, and then you'll flush the piece.
Or use, like, toilet paper.
Yeah,
right?
They want you to do toilet paper with a cleaner and latex gloves.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you throw the gloves away? I'm guessing,
well,
right?
yeah, they're disposable, right? You have a whole pack of those.
Oh, right, yeah, those ones.
I don't know. Yeah, now you're going for the environment aspect. I'm trying to save your life here, Will.
Yeah.
Trying to help you avoid diarrhea and respiratory issues.
Well, yeah, that helps.
But
I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those weird things that everybody knows is nasty, but it's always there.
Yeah. Ugh.
The toilet brush. You got to reach in there. Get ready, Will. Next time around.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there isn't like some sort of invention for it.
No, there is. There is. Yeah, you haven't seen it. We can tell the people right now, but like if you go to toilet cleaning device, I mean, I'm sure you're going to see it, man. It's not a brush. It would be a little puck thing, and you chuck it out after. I think Lysol makes one. Where the hell is it?
This thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Put it in the toilet bowl?
Oh, no, that's a different one.
Oh.
There's one where it's on a stick, and you scrub, and then you click off the actual end piece, and it goes in the trash can.
Oh, really?
The part that was used to scrub. I'm telling you, man.
Okay. Well, people should check that out.
You're very upset about this one. I thought we were on our way out with this show, but now you really want to get to the bottom of it. You're very upset.
Why isn't there like
You're very upset.
You know the toilet lid when you close it? Why can't there be like a UV light there that just shines on the toilet?
Well, because the UV ain't going to do anything for whatever chunks of crap are stuck in there.
No?
No. UV will sanitize to an extent. But it can't break down that degree of material in the speed that you're going to need it to operate.
Yeah.
You know? Somebody's got to figure this out. But
yeah.
I'm telling you, I feel like there's a product that's close. I don't know why I'm not seeing it right now.
Okay, well.
Toilet cleaning device. What's the matter with me? And now that you extended this, I feel we have no...
Did you imagine this?
No, I just feel like we have no way out of here because we have to identify what the product is in order to escape this show.
Yeah, we want to help the people.
The people deserve it at this point. If they're still here at this point right now, then they absolutely deserve it. Okay, I'm going to type disposable.
Okay, I'm just going to look at crypto prices. Here.
What do I got here? Oh, is that it? Scotch-Brite disposable toilet scrubber. Yes, there we go. You can look that up.
Scotch-Brite?
Clorox makes one too. It's called the toilet wand. Maybe that's easier for you. But Scotch-Brite makes a toilet scrubber disposable, and Clorox has a toilet wand. There you go. You see how it works? The portion at the bottom is what you're scrubbing with. You press the button, it goes into the trash can, and it's done.
Do you have one of these?
No, I don't. I've had it in the past.
Oh, okay.
But I guess
using that old toilet brush.
I guess the trouble with this is you got to buy the refills, and
right.
It's kind of a
six
for $20. But actually, probably the refills
this is Canadian prices,
and probably the refills cost less than the starter kit where you had to get the whole wand.
Oh, right, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, you got to remember to.
Wow, you convinced me.
You got to remember just to buy the refill. But all of a sudden, I mean, I'm going to save you from diarrhea and respiratory illness. So I don't know, maybe it's worth it.